G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today we're mixing things up a little bit. You may notice this is not Outback Octagon. You've tuned in for some brand new patch content. And it's not your standard 1v1. Today we've actually got a 2v2. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know everybody in our game today. I know Waffle, he's quite a prolific FFA player. I've seen him plenty of times on the FFA, in FFA games. I think I've played against him, and I'm pretty confident he's like top 2, top 3 FFA players. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got today. But let's introduce our players for the teams. In the north of the map, in the color orange, playing as the French, we've got Mavrika. And to his east, also a partner in crime, it's going to be Hex One Gaming, playing the English. And then in the blue, playing as Joan of Arc, we've got Vinces. And then, of course, we've got 3D Waffle, who's going to be on the Juicy Legacy in yellow. Now, you'll also hear from my voice that it is, well, let's just put it this way. It's getting close to bedtime for me. It's 4 a.m. at the moment, and I was kind of waiting for the patch to drop, and it did finally drop, and I said, you know what I want to do? I want to get a new peek at the new game mode that is coming out. So there's a new game mode, which I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but I've heard it could be a little bit crazy. There's, you know, you may remember the map monsters from last time. Well, it's like that, but the map monsters are a little bit more scary. But anyway, let's worry about that bridge when we have to cross it. Until then, let's talk a little bit about what we can expect today. So it's a 2v2. 2v2, it's been a while since we've had one on the channel. Normally you've got one player who likes to make cav, and the other player who likes to make archers or jukunu, and that's exactly what you're going to have today here. We've got our English player who's going to be making longbows, together with our French player who is going to be making knights. Interestingly, looks like we might already have our mining camp coming down on the stone, despite there not being any actual age up coming through just yet. Looks like the age up is about to come through though, so it's going to be a 2TC opening here. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we of course have our Joan of Arc player who will be going for the knights, and on the south side, we'll have 3D Waffle who will be making probably some Jukunu, but considering he's playing the Juicy Legacy, it could also just be Palace Guards that you make, and then you kind of make like Palace Guards and Royal Knights together, and then that just does very well against the longbows. We used to do that all the time back in Age of Empires 3 because that was the meta there as well. Like one player would make cavalry and the other one would make a ranged skirmisher unit, and what you could do is you could just be like, okay, well let's just both open cavalry, and then that way my cav will, you know, break even with the enemy cavalry, and then your cavalry will just destroy their skirmisher unit, so their longbows or whatever it is that you've got. So that was normally the way that that we liked to play those 2v2s. Of course, they're very close to my heart, the 2v2s. Spent a lot of nights just playing 2v2 with my good friend Braden, playing 3v3s with Ben as well from New Zealand. Gosh, they were the good days. So young back then. So I'm trying to think of a word. I don't want to say it. I was going to say so virile, but I don't think that's it. I mean, my micro was so good back then. I could move a mouse so quickly. That's what I'm trying to say to you guys. All right. Well, we got the landmarks starting to come through. Of course, no real surprises. School of Cavalry coming out on both sides for our French players, or now Joan of Arc players. The only thing is, Hex One Gaming is yet to click that age up yet. Got a lot of wood in the bank right now, Hex One Gaming. Not sure what the plan is at this stage of the game, so perhaps Hex One Gaming might be having a little bit of an uphill battle today. Meanwhile, on the south side of the map, we do have our meditation gardens coming in for Waffle. Nice little meditation gardens that he's got here as well. It looks like if he's lucky, he might be able to pick up both the stone and the 2 gold veins as well. Otherwise, I think the gold vein might be just a little bit outside that radius, but we'll have to wait and see what the numbers are going to be, but should be 50 stone at the very least, which is wonderful. That's such a strong opening for him as well, and it's going to be a very quick Song Dynasty, so going straight into the Xiongnan Tower. Now, if we take a look back at Mavrika and his base, we can have a look at the current resources. So Mavrika with only 60 stone in the bank, so not going to be going into that second TC opening this early. 4 minutes 20 into the game. It is going to be the Council Hall coming through from Hex One. Now, just to remind you guys, often on this channel, we cover the best players in Age of Empires. We cover Beastie, we cover Marine Lord, we cover Puppy Paw, all the big dogs, all the big names. So you're not just used to Conqueror 3 level players, you're used to the very, very best players. So it might seem strange that we're covering players who aren't Conqueror 3, or at least aren't Conqueror 3 just yet in this season, but, you know, I'm sure if we give Hex One a few more games, he'll get there. But it's just important to remember that, you know, this is one of the first games of the season that we're getting to witness right now, and hopefully it's going to be a good show. So, Mavrika now with the age up coming through on the north. Waffle now on the south side as well. Let's take a look and see whether he managed to pick it up. So he did pick up the stone, both of them, but didn't pick up the second gold. Unfortunate. All right, well, let's check the base. Zhangnan Tower still coming up. It's going to be a second TC at the very least for him. I think in 2v2, you could probably get away with the second TC. I don't think I'd tempt going into a third. Outpost going to be coming up at the back. We don't see Joan of Arc making any Mogul moves just yet this early on. 5 minutes and 40 into the game. She could look to get out onto the map, but it's just going to be an outpost in the base. A little bit of long range gathering here as well from Mavrika. The Knight's now going to come back into the base. Chased away with the Knight for the moment. Boar's out here as well to come and grab. If we take a look at the map, of course the map is Dry Arabia for anyone who was not familiar with it, but if we take a look at the map, it's pretty well balanced, as is they are coming. They are coming. Who are coming? Oh my lord, there they are, ladies and gentlemen. He is here, the Bitey Wolf. And take a look at this. 3 Bitey Wolves coming inside the base. He was going for the second town center at 6 minutes, and everybody is under attack. They are coming. They have arrived. Vils underneath the town center, just garrisoning inside. But have a look at this. They're actually doing a great job in defending for the most part. The 2 French guys are going to be absolutely fine, but he who makes no units struggles the most, as they say. And I think that's T.S. Eliot. Yeah, I think for the most part, these guys in the north have handled it relatively well. The English town center as well has been absolutely fine. 50 gold, by the way, picked up for your bounty. And so far, so good for Hex 1 Gaming. Manages to hold. The question's going to be about whether Waffles had significant damage done to him. It didn't really feel like it. I think he was able to garrison at least 15 Vils. How many did he lose? Like, there's a couple here with low health. He's got 15 here, and then he's got a whole bunch that are here. So I don't know where those wolves spawned in from, but they appear to strike at the 6-minute mark, which is very, very early. I wonder if in FFA, if we turn this game mode on, if they would strike at 6 minutes still. Because, like, you got to think about it. FFA, you're basically 2 minutes behind where you would be in a normal game, because you got to build your town center. This is cheeky. Vinces knows that you got to kill the sheep. Very, very cheeky. I mean, you can kill the scout or damage the scout. He's going to run away in the end, but you kill the sheep, and that is just permanent damage you're doing right there. Well, you know what else is permanent damage? That scout going down. And why would you kill the sheep? You could have just taken the sheep. Oh, poor guy. Yeah, I wondered if FFA delays it at all, or if it still comes in at 6 minutes, because you're a lot more powerful than you are, or you're a lot more powerful at 6 minutes than you are at 4 minutes into the game. And that's essentially where you are in FFA. And we've already got some Age 2 walls coming through here for Mavrika. Looks like some Age 2 stone walls, I should clarify, but I suspect these probably aren't going to be getting up too soon. Now, keep in mind, Mavrika is also playing as the French, so we've got ourselves a French/Joan of Arc battle towards the left side of the map. I say to the left side, I mean, it's the left sort of battlefield, right? Like, I think the best way to think about it is there's sort of like 2 sides, and this is the left side, or the top side. The top left side. The left side. We'll just go with the left side. All right, so for the moment, the numbers continue to build for our players in the north. When it comes to expansion town centers, it doesn't look like Waffle's going to be going for any third TC. I take it back. He's on 192 stone. What's the plan there? Because obviously he's going into the Zhangnan Tower. He's going to be going for a granary, and I love this. Granary in the back of the base, on top of the deer. This is so smart. It's kind of like future-proofing in a way, because instead of just dropping a mill here, you're dropping your granary, which you're going to put farms around eventually anyway. And that way you don't have to get rid of the mill, so you're not... The threat calms for now. What does that even mean? What does that even mean that the threat calms for now? Was that like... Was there an option for them to spawn right then, but they didn't spawn? Is that basically what it's saying? Like, it can be a bit random, like sometimes they will spawn and sometimes they won't? I feel like that's what it was saying, though. Anyway, I like the granary. Keep it up, Waffle. So far, I'll tell you right now, I know that Waffle is Conqueror. I know that he's I think he's Conk 3. And I know that Vinces is also a pretty good player. I'm not sure if he's Conqueror, but I know he's at least Diamond, I can tell you that much. On the top side, I couldn't actually see a rank for either of these 2 guys. The last ranks that I saw for them were like back in Season 2, Season 3. So it's been a while since they've played. At least that's what it looks like on their profiles. But, you know, sometimes the profiles can be a little bit buggy, so perhaps it was just delayed, even though, you know, I waited for a good 30-40 seconds to check them out and see. because this game's actually ongoing live right now. I don't know who wins. I don't know how long it goes for. So we're just here, we're vibing out. We're having a good time. Now, speaking of vibes, my little guy's got his birthday coming up soon. Not the big one, the little one. Because remember, I've got 2 now, with a 3rd on the way. Not really. I don't really have a 3rd on the way. That's an Outback Octagon joke. Don't congratulate me, please. I don't want your congratulations. Not yet, though. Not yet. Just letting you know. Okay? Give it a couple months. Anyway, where were we? We were talking. Oh yeah, little man. He's having a birthday. You know. Can I just say something? As a husband, I feel like I don't appreciate my wife enough. Because I said to her, you know, like, for our first one, we just did a big birthday bash at our local country club, and you know, it was good fun. I was like, yeah, that was cool. You know, I had fun. I turned up. I had fun. Anyway, this time we're doing it at our house, and the amount of shit that she is organizing is insane. Like the thought that has to go into all of this stuff, and you know, at the end of the day, all I do is I just turn up, I just rock up, and I'm like, you know, I put on my shirt, put on my shorts, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. And the whole thing has been like, I wouldn't say hundreds of hours, but probably dozens of hours of planning and preparation. And meanwhile, I'm just like, I'm just here playing Age of Empires. I feel a little bit like, you know, oh, sorry, honey, like, I should probably appreciate the effort that you put into stuff like this, because I guess you don't, I don't know, maybe I'm not speaking on behalf of all husbands, and maybe it's just me, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of stuff that you see that you don't realize how much effort has gone into it. Like that burrito did not magically microwave itself, my friend. Oh gosh, it's getting late. It's getting late. So look, I'm allowed to go off topic if I want. All right, don't at me, guys. It's fine. Let's talk a little bit about the game though, because at the moment we do have the South team making a bit of a push, not allowing any. They are coming. Oh, I saw them spawn in right there. We got some wolves on the way. Looks like these wolves in the north should be defended pretty well. It's important to note that, like, if you're on the defense, you've already got units in your base, so you're fine to defend. You might even be able to use... Oh my god, look how many freaking wolves are coming through right now. English Town Centre is going to try its best to defend. And they're going after the villagers. Have a look at that. They're going after the villagers. Let's check in on the south side. Continuing to chase away the juicy legacy villas as well. Meanwhile, what's going on in the Joan of Arc base? There's literally nothing going on in the Joan of Arc base. They're fine. Joan of Arc having a field day. Meanwhile, back towards the English base. Dude, Hex1 copped 4 wolves in his base. Meanwhile, over on Vinska's side, he's picked up nothing. I didn't see a single wolf down here. Oh, here they... Oh, the walls bugged them out. The walls have bugged them out. Look at that. What happened there? That they ran... Like, they shouldn't be attacking... Is there like a bug in the AI that basically says they're going after a unit? So they must have spawned in, and then maybe they... I don't know, can they get around walls or something? Because I don't see how you're going to get through this. Is there a wall that's not complete? They look pretty tucked in, man. Like, I don't think he's getting out of bed for that one. Look at these wolves, though. Joan of Arc manages to make it out all right. So I don't know how the wolves got out, but I suspect they must have had, like, they must have focus or target on one specific unit. So maybe they were even focusing down Joan of Arc, because you could see she was running away. And so maybe that's the way that it worked, and they just locked onto her, and I don't know, there was something strange that was happening. What was the timer right there? I was looking at a bit of an elite time right then. It wasn't 13 minutes, was it? Surely not. I feel like it's been longer than that, but maybe, you know, time flies when you're having fun, so maybe it was 12 minutes. But I guess 3-minute intervals would kind of make sense. Age Up's starting to come through, though. We do see over on the west side of the map, Guildhall is going to be coming up for our Joan of Arc player. Over on the east side of the map, it looks like we're going to have the White Tower being put down. Now, normally I would be against this kind of thing, but because we're in a 2v2, I think this is absolutely fine, as long as you've got your ally to help bring his army over as well. It can be really dangerous putting your White Tower in a position like this, but as long as you've got armies to defend it, I think it should be okay in a 2v2. Just mainly because you've got army from the second player, and the second player is not aging up as well. At least I hope he's not aging up as well. Right, Mavrika? Right. Alright, let's check in and see how Waffle's doing. So Waffle's on 3 TCs. Waffle's fully walled up at the moment. Waffle's got a pretty good farm transition coming through right now as well. Waffle's having a pretty good game, right? Like, I look at this and I go, okay, this is the kind of like the dream juicy legacy game where you're just allowed to be And any game where you're just kind of allowed to do what you want as Juicy Legacy, it's not going to be good for your enemies. And so while at the moment, you know, Hex One Gaming, he's kind of happy with how things are going. He's aging up. He's got decent little army that's building here. And he's defended off the wolves. Yeah, it's every 3 minutes. The threat calms for now. So I feel like every 3 minutes or something, there's like an RNG roll. And it's like, okay, maybe they will come, maybe they won't come. I think that's how it works. I'm not 100% sure on it, but I figure that's probably it. But, yeah, I suspect with the way that it's going, Hex One Gaming might have a little bit of a tough time as the pointy end of the game comes in. Let's check that village account, though, for Waffle. Waffle currently sitting at 82 vills, a huge amount of vills. Let's compare that over to his ally, and we've got 35 vills. Then we check Mavrika. Keep in mind, Mavrika still only on 1 TC, 34 vills. And then we check Hex One, and he's on 44 vills. So we've got some pretty differing vill counts here, but by far, Waffle is just very, very far ahead when it comes to that vill count. And of course, that's going to be largely because of the not largely, entirely because of the 3 TCs. All right, well, age ups have come through now for 3 of these 4 players. Waffle going up with the Shaolin Monastery. He started to pick up some relics as well. We can see he's got the first one in the bank at the moment. 16 minutes into the game. We've got another 2 minutes before the chance. As I say, I don't know whether there's a chance associated with it or not. Oh, I totally forgot to tell you guys as well. For anyone who doesn't know, we'll talk about it later. Don't worry. Joan of Arc coming through. Finds a nice little opening here, but the problem is the White Tower is just here and will pick off all of these units. So even if you're having a bad trade here as Hex One, it's not a bad trade because the White Tower is getting really good value just taking out those units. Oh yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. So, for anyone who doesn't know, I love mozzarella sticks. I don't know why. You know, it's just like, it must be pregnancy food for me. And we'll talk about it later because we've got another battle that's just raging on these guys that are just deciding to start fighting. They don't want to hear the truth about mozzarella sticks. And I guess we're not gonna be able to give it to you guys today, perhaps. You know, we'll try a third time in a little bit, but you know, if a fight keeps breaking out every time we start to talk about it, perhaps the cheese gods have decided I don't share my good news with you guys about mozzarella. But for the moment, oh, it's Grenadiers! Oh, I completely forgot you've got access to early Grenadiers and that they're actually good because they've got this new upgrade. Let's take a look and see whether we're actually going to be able to spot that upgrade. There's plenty of units making their way across the map. So it's the hard-cased bomb. So the units receive 15% ranged and melee damage for 5 seconds when hit by a grenade. So this is like almost a support unit now, the Grenadier. If you can throw a grenade, and that's going to do AoE damage on all of... Oh my god, look at the Springalds. Look at the Springalds firing through here. I completely forgot about the Springalds. I was just looking at him like, what's he doing putting Springalds on the front line like this is crazy, man. I'm like, no, Springalds are totally a frontline thing that you can do now. Another thing that looks like they've changed as well, because they didn't have this before. So you can see when the Springald fires, how it like kind of tracks its target and it will shoot towards it. What used to happen was when the bolt would hit its target, when the Springald would hit its target, the bolt itself would stop. But now it seems that the bolt will just always go through. And I remember saying, like, you have to micro the back ones to make sure that the back ones are getting hit by the Springald so that the bolt travels through everyone. Now, if you just fire at the closest unit, the bolt is always going to go through no matter what. So you don't really have to micro them as much. Obviously, you want to micro them to keep them away from the enemy. Oh, there's the wolves. Have a look at that. 18 minutes in. Oh, look at how fast they go. See, is this another case of the... They must get bugged out by the walls or something. I didn't even realize that they'd spawned in, but all sacred sites now are going to get taken. And those wolves, you can see how strong they are here, just coming for the Juicy Legacy units. All right. Do we go for it? Round 3. Let's attempt. Okay. Nah, I'm not going to count that. So, I don't know why, but I like mozzarella sticks a lot. They're really good. There's just something about them. I think it's like the autistic side of me. I have a friend who has he has an actual condition. It's like, I'm not even kidding you. He has a psychiatrist and he's been diagnosed with it. The condition is like colloquially known as like the toddler food syndrome. Basically, he can only eat food that toddlers eat. And the reason why is because like he has like an aversion to things that feel weird. And so he can only eat certain food that doesn't feel weird to him. So like chicken nuggets, he demolishes chicken nuggets, dude. Like any good toddler. He's not a toddler, I'll tell you right now. This guy is not a toddler. It's not my son. Don't worry. He's a full-grown man. I used to work with him. His name's James. James, I hope you're doing well, man. Because he knows about the channel. But we'll talk about the mozzarella later. We've been interrupted. We've been rudely interrupted again. We'll never get out the truth about the mozzarellas today. That's for sure. Oh, my lord. Take a look at this. Honestly, Hex1's not doing a terrible job in defending. The only problem is the longer the game goes, the more resources that get built up by Waffle and his insane lead. But Sacred Sight gets neutralized by Mavrika for the moment. Age Up still yet to come through, though. Farm economy starting to look good. Unfortunately, there's still some deer out the front, which we could have gotten. So back to the mozzarella sticks. Don't worry, we'll get there eventually. My favorite mozzarella sticks are from Costco, and that's because you can buy a lot of them and you can get them for quite an affordable price. And I don't like to be ripped off when I'm purchasing mozzarella sticks, and they're really good quality mozzarella sticks compared to the other options that we've got. Because I've tested every single mozzarella stick variant. I was telling my wife, like, hey, maybe you should learn how to make mozzarella sticks. That would be a great investment of your time. Trying to convince her. It's like when she's trying to convince me to make her a makeup table. Oh gosh, no, look. Honey, I can barely make breakfast. I'm not making you a makeup table. Yeah, so anyway, I went to Costco, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. They didn't have any there, and I was so sad. The threat calms for now, 21 minutes. But I went to a different Costco today, and they had them. So anyway, I bought 11 packets. And you might be saying, oh, 11 packets, that's a reasonable amount. I don't know why I bought 11. I guess I just bought a lot. It turns out each one is like 1.2 kilos. Which, for you Americans, is like 2.5 pounds each. So anyway, I've got 30 pounds of mozzarella sticks. Did you guys want to come over for a party? That's where we're at the moment, because the party is now well and truly ticking. Sacred Sight victory is approaching here. And I'm going to be honest, like, when we talk about the map monsters, I feel like these are actually much better than the original ones that we had. Like, the original ones that we had were just so meh. You know, like, it didn't really feel like it changed gameplay at all. I don't even think I saw Loch Ness once. You know, I saw the other weird kind of guy who just stood there and you'd kill him and your villager would get a buff and you'd be like, whoa, that was cool, yeah. But, like, this actually adds a new dynamic to the game, right? Like, it basically says, it basically says, like, hey, you have to make units early. If you try and go for a greedy strategy, you are going to get punished. Like, we saw in the north of the map, or I should say on the right side of the map, both of the players who made units early were absolutely fine when those wolves came. Yet, when Waffle got attacked, he was absolutely rolled over. But speaking of getting rolled over, Hex1's going to tap outright here because he has just been rolled over the top of. Of course, there's no king because we're not playing any regicide whatsoever. Or Hex1 right here. So sad to see, but unfortunately, it is necessary. And as all good 2v2s go in... you know, whenever you're playing with somebody that you don't know, there's not really a whole lot of communication, and like you won't even say GG or okay, I'm resigning, or I think it's over, bro. Like you don't say anything, you just leave, and you can see that Mavrika is still just kind of like chilling out, like, oh, all right, when I get Castle Age, I'll get my veterancy, and then I'll be online, and then they're gonna have trouble. But Mavrika doesn't realize that Waffle has already rolled over the top of his ally. Hex1 has gone down. And now Waffle points towards Hex1 and says, hey, you know, those wolves earlier, right? Well, we ate them, and now we are the wolves. And they come to clear out all the villagers here. It looks like it's probably going to be a pretty quick fight. There's not a huge amount of knights here. Royal Knights yet to get their veterancy. It doesn't look like it's going to be in queue anytime soon. Fair few idols here as well. Villager count now down to 25. Looks like Waffle gonna find himself a nice, easy victory in this game. Over the top of his opponent. Plenty of Jukunu here. And that's gonna be it, ladies and gentlemen. The game is called. I feel like the real victors were the wolves, though. You know, there were a couple of villager kills in there. I'm 100% sure of it. Those things did look like they did quite a bit of damage. Let's take a look and see whether we can actually spot them on the graph. Yeah, you can see right here. He's lost. I'm gonna go with losing 2 villagers right here, right after the 6-minute mark. It looks like Vinces has lost one as well, and then at 9 minutes as well, I think Mavrika loses a villager. Is that 9 minutes? That's not 9 minutes. That's like 8 minutes. 9 minutes would be here. So it doesn't look like anybody lost vills at that 9-minute raid. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we will leave it there. Hopefully you've enjoyed this look at the first patch. Well, not the first patch, but the first game of the patch that we'll be casting. From here on in, we'll be doing 2 games a day that'll be posted to the YouTube channel. So there'll be one Outback Octagon game and then just one normal game from the new patch. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.